Hey YouTube, it's Johnny Morgan and I'm back today with another video. And this time it's about the Yamaha TX-802. And as you can see behind me right here, I managed to get a broken Yamaha TX-802 off eBay for $150. So I thought maybe it's going to be a pretty easy fix. Something like a battery swap, which is really common. As it turns out, it doesn't look that's the problem. And so I'm just going to take you through it a little bit here and show you what I suspect the problem is. And then I'll have a follow-up video in a bit once that part comes in and we can see if we get it fixed. All right, so that's the video for today. TX-802 Repair. Okay, here's the TX-802, and as you can see, it powers on and looks like the the LCD display comes up, and that's really cool. And it's a pretty clean board inside. I managed to replace the battery with like a clip unit, which I'm going to actually tidy up a little bit. And yeah, no real visible major issues. There's smoke. It doesn't look like any resistors are burnt out on the power supply. So I'm just going to show you a few things I did looking at it to sort of get to where I am on this troubleshoot job. As you can see, it's just plain not booting. And the sucky thing about that is I can't even put it into test mode because it's just not even getting to that point yet, which does indicate probably a power rail issue somewhere on the board. All right, let's have a look inside. Okay, yeah, so by measuring certain points on the board, I'm able to actually determine, if the 5 volts rail is looking. Let's look at some of these logic chips. Should give us 5 volts here. Oops. Yeah, it's 5.9. Yeah, and then over here on this op amp, it's a plus 15, minus 15 rail. That should be, sort of in the order of 30 volts, 35 volts. So that's correct. So I did some probing around, and what I came across is this DAC right here, the PCM54. It doesn't appear like it's actually giving the correct voltage on the rails. And yeah, so that should be minus 15 volts. That should be plus 15 volts. And it's not. It's about 5 or 6. So it does look like potentially that DAC has fried. And so what I'm going to do is order a new DAC, and I'm going to socket it and stick that in. I did a little bit of research on eBay already, and it does appear that that is a bit of a common problem on DX2s and some of the Yamaha things that use it, like the TX sampler uses it. So, and actually some other Yamaha gear, some audio gear. So that's a digital to analog converter. It does feel like something's not quite right there. So what I'm going to do is pull that out. I'm going to look around the board first just to double check that some of these guys aren't maybe shorted or broken or something like that, and our cap is gone. And yeah, so I'll replace some things in that area of the IC and just see if we can get this thing back to life. Hey YouTube and subscribers, I have some good news. Today in the mail came my new DAC for the TX-802. Here's the old one that I've pulled out, as you can see, and we got the new one here. Just came in. So I'm going to drop this in. I've actually socketed the spot for the DAC so I can slide it in, and I'm going to put it in and give it a go. Now, while I was pulling the board apart, I did notice an issue that I'm going to go into right now on the main board that I think actually might be the problem, and it's pretty interesting. So I'll show you that right now. Okay, I've got the main board out of the unit and flipped it over, and it looks pretty good. This board is actually a really nice construction. But if you look over here on the CPU, I found this rather interesting burn hole in the CPU right there. And it's actually not a burn hole, it's actually a screw hole. And I was trying to figure out where this came from, and what it is there's a couple screw holes there, and on the other side there is two. And what it was is from this tilt stand. And these screws actually go up through the bottom of the tilt stand. And if you take off the tilt stand hardware and re-screw the screws in, they actually go too far in and actually short out on the motherboard. And interestingly enough, that's actually the CPU. So that would be bad, like really bad. So I'm pretty sure that because the CPU is not booting, that it probably got shorted out, and it might be fried. So we're going to check into that. Okay, here's the TX-802, and now when it comes on, I am getting some black lines, which indicates the CPU is not booting. But there's the new DAC in place, socketed. So we probably didn't have to replace that. I don't know if that really was the problem. It seemed like it was because of the voltages, but that might have been because the unit was shorting out due to that screw that I found in the chassis. So next job is to just figure out why that CPU is not booting, and I've already ordered a replacement CPU and socket for it. It's going to be a real tough removal, but I'll get it out, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, it's finally arrived from China. This IC, I ordered it. It's the CPU for the TX-802, and I ordered it on eBay, and I got a really good deal, and shipping was free. So sometimes that means it can take a while to come, but it has arrived after about 3 months of shipping, and I'm pretty excited because I'm gonna stick this CPU in TX-802 and see if this is my problem. So stay with me, let's check it out. Okay, here we have the TX-802 opened up. And as you can see, I've actually pulled the TX-802, the old CPU chip, out here, and here it is. And I've actually socketed the new spot for it. And I'm not gonna lie, that was difficult to pull out. To unsolder a CPU like this, especially with that spacing, it was very difficult. And the key to it is a heat gun. You have to do this with a heat gun. There is almost no other way. And so you heat up the board with a heat gun as much as you can, and actually eventually the solder will almost just drop out, and it's actually the best way to do it. And then you clean up the solder joints afterwards. So here we have the new CPU, and I'm going to stick that in here, and we're going to hopefully see if this works. Okay, here we have the moment of truth. Let's turn it on. I've got the CPU mounted now inside it here. Pretty sure I got it in safely, so let's give it a go. Let's fire this thing up, and let's hope there's no smoke, and I hope it boots. That's This is going to be the big moment of truth here. And I still have the black lines. That is not good. Okay, so as you can see, we're still dealing with the black bars here, so we still have a problem. And obviously the new CPU didn't smoke, but it also didn't fix my problem, so I'm still now investigating what this may be. All right, I'll keep you posted.